Good afternoon, everybody. It's Stephen and Paul back at you for a Friday edition of WinExtra's Daily Brief for March the 4th, 2011. Running a little late here today because Paul had to go running off doing something more important than the show.
Yes, how dare real life ever sort of intervene in doing the show?
So how are you doing?
Good. Literally just in the door, so running a little bit behind, but raring to go, and looking forward to the fact that today's Friday, so
yes,
it's the weekend.
Yay! Like that really matters to us.
Not us blogger type individuals, I suppose not.
No.
There is no such thing as weekend or morning or night or sleeping patterns or regular hours.
It just sort of all rolls together, and yeah. Anyway, on with the news. What little there is, what we've managed to dig
Would you
up.
stop saying that? We have lots of news.
We got we got lots and lots of news. We got more news than we know what to do with.
Do we have 4 or 5 good stories in the show notes?
Okay.
Yes, and that's about all we ever have time for. 4 or 5 good stories.
First up, the updater. For the updater. I've lost count. How many?
It's very simple. The original updater to the update software on Windows Phone 7 came out, and as we all know, it bricked some phones.
Yes. Not very
so
nice.
Microsoft released a new updater to update the updater, and apparently that's still not working properly on some Samsung phones, so they will have to release an update to the updater for the original update software before you can get the first proper update to your phone, which will be no-do for some people.
Now, to be fair, this is only hitting a very few number of Samsung phones.
Damn you, Samsung people! It's all your fault. It's a conspiracy. You're doing it deliberately. No, but
well, considering that
it's hilarious. If you ask me, it's just absolutely hilarious that they can't get this stuff right. And it's not just Microsoft involved in this. It's the carriers too, because if you just run the stock OS that Microsoft can, just do what they're doing with, then everything should be absolutely fine. Microsoft are the masters of that. The fact of the matter is that the carriers also have their own gloop stuck in there.
Yeah.
And that is usually where these problems arise.
Well, I saw there was one report out that from one of the mobile blogs that the Samsungs that are being affected, it has to do with the fact that there's 2 different types of memory that's being treated as one unified drive within the phones. And it's those ones in particular, but there's LG phones with the same setup, but not necessarily the same extended memory.
Do you remember when we were talking about the specs of Windows Phone 7s, when the first Windows Phone 7 started to come out all that time ago? And we were talking about how Microsoft had said you could have, there would be removable memory, but that there wasn't supposed to be like SSD card slots or anything like that on the phones. Manufacturers went ahead and added these things, even though Microsoft said that we're not supporting that because we're not using it as storage. We're using it as actual memory, which means that the stuff that we use has to be of a certain type and of a certain rating, because not all SSD cards are built the same. They all have different performance, etc. And it's got to do with how Microsoft is dealing with memory management and dealing with those and how to use it, because it's not storage, it's memory.
Yeah.
And I strongly suspect that is where the problems are coming from.
Yeah. Now, of
But,
course, this
we've got no official verification of that. It's just my gut,
Yeah. Now, this, of course, has led into some ongoing hand-wringing over the fact that we may not see the Mango update, according to Paul Thurrott, until 2012.
If we don't get Mango prior to 2012. I'll go even further, right? If we don't get Mango, let's see, we're supposed to get Nodo maybe next week.
Yeah.
Right? If we don't get Mango by latest end of second quarter, let's say at latest end of third quarter, Windows Phone 7 will be officially dead, besides Microsoft flogging a dead horse and just keep pouring money into it. As a platform, it won't be going anywhere.
Now, to be fair, Mary Jo Foley has basically said the same thing, except for the fact that the people that she's talked to leads her to believe that we will see it by fall.
Well, look, if you just look back at conversations that were had not last week, the week before last, with people like Joe Belfiore and a whole lot, right? And they were saying that we expect these things to come out. But we can't guarantee it.
Yeah.
And why can't we guarantee it? Because of the carriers. I ranted about this yesterday, and how the carriers have too much influence and want to basically charge users for every feature, so they block updates. This is a security risk.
Yeah.
And it's killing the platform right now.
One of the reports I read this morning came point blank out and said, yes, there are at least 2 of the carriers that are blocking the updates.
And this is what I find funny, right? You see, and we'll probably be talking a little about this later on, but you see government launching, the government launches probes into everything. Antitrust behavior, left, right, and center. Well, where's the antitrust behavior on... Maybe antitrust isn't the right word, but collusion maybe with the carriers. Because if you look at them, prices go up across the board, everywhere, same time. Price of data goes down, price of to pay for it goes up.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's the same with all of them. And they all block updates to phones that people expect when they sign their contract, expect when they get their phone. When people bought Windows Phone 7, they expected to get it with regular updates that would come out and couldn't be blocked. But we're already finding out that the carriers have reneged on that. And so where are, when are people going to look into that and actually say, look, guys, your carriers, either do it or we'll take your license off you.
Yeah.
Because these piss poor fines that they issue sometimes for things of 10 million here and 5 million there, that's a drop in the ocean to them. They make that in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You have to really hurt them to stop this behavior, because it's hurting the market.
Yeah.
And it's hurting, most importantly, consumers, and it's stopping new brands like Windows Phone 7 from coming in and competing in the market. It's anti-competitive behavior.
Yeah. The other 2012 story, and we don't mean the end of the world unless you're Microsoft, is...
Or my end.
Bloomberg has out that Microsoft isn't planning a Windows release for tablets until back-to-school time in 2012.
So August, September, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Really, that kind of fits more in my mind as to where the development schedule for Windows 8 should be. Mm-hmm. Even if they're going to, even if we are going to see demos June, July. But I don't think it's the wrong move. The tablet market is something that's going to grow. Okay, and it's going to grow and grow and grow and grow. And just because Apple have shipped like 15 million iPads, what is that in a market? That's nothing. And you can see that Apple are already scared. Look, they've brought out a completely lackluster iPad 2 that Steve Jobs himself had to get on stage and lie about.
Yeah.
And lie about the competition and lie about the market. And if you don't believe me, just do a search. I think I shared something on my Twitter stream yesterday. Go back through it. It's twitter.com/@PaulO'Flaherty. And, where he's taken quotes from, like, Sony representatives, from Sony CEOs.
And misquoted.
He's deliberately misquoted, even though it's been printed everywhere. for a long time that that's not what the guy said.
Yeah.
Apple are scared. They have a wonderful product and a wonderful fan base, and they're raking in money by the monkeys, but they're afraid of the future. Apple iPad 2 is lackluster. It's released at the wrong time of the year.
Yep.
It's released in mid-March. What's mid-March? You should have been counting on Christmas sales. Yeah. Mid-March, when Christmas comes around, things are only halfway through their life cycle. People aren't going to update again, or, you know. So they release it the wrong time, and they're afraid of the competition. And Microsoft is sitting back, and really they're saying, okay, let's get this right.
Yeah. The same way they did with the phone.
And we're seeing a change. Microsoft isn't being impulsive and bullying. Microsoft sitting back and just saying, let's get this right. Let's be patient. You know, sort of measure twice, cut once. Yeah. You know, to borrow a trade.
You know, contrary to what some are saying, because the word is that Windows 8 is going to be basically a single code base that will cover everything from Windows Phone 7 straight through to server or to desktop. And that's including any tablet. Okay, but it's going to be doing it in such a way that you can select what interface you want.
Yeah, because code base does not mean UI. It doesn't you know what I mean?
Yeah. So here's my
code base just means that it'll make it easy to write code once, deploy it everywhere.
Yeah. So my thought is their idea of doing this in their normal Windows 8 release time frame, bringing out the new desktop, the new laptop, the new tablet, the new phone, okay? That makes perfect sense for the company.
Yeah, they're not releasing an out-of-cycle operating system.
No. And I think if we do get to see a teaser of what the tablet's going to look like, it's only going to be a teaser. We're still not going to have that until the fall of 2012.
But where does this then fit in with Dell and their roadmap of the 2012 release for Windows 8 tablets? Early 2012, first quarter 2012.
Which they've already pushed back.
Have they? I didn't see that. Well, that's what happens when I'm not here. Pre-show.
Yeah, no, they pushed that back. Anyway.
Bastards moving things without telling me.
Yeah. I found this one kind of fun. Today, the Microsoft announced a new site called IE6 Countdown.
IE6 Countdown.com. You might remember, well, look, it's very obvious. Microsoft don't want IE6 anymore, right? They're trying to get rid of it. It's now, 11-year-old operating system? 10-year-old, not operating system, browser. Mm-hmm. They did the Sour Milk campaign previously to try to kill it off. Using IE6 was like drinking sour milk. Design group Atom Design had an actual funeral for IE6 at one point, and Microsoft sent flowers. Because, they want to get rid of it. Yeah. And basically now they've launched IE6Countdown.com, which is... It's full of some interesting graphs that show IE6's market share around the world. And, Canada is 3.3%, USA 2.9%, Norway and Finland, very progressive, 0.7% each. But then, you get to places like China, where it's 34.5%.
Yeah.
The market share. It's basically Microsoft just giving it that, come on, folks.
Yes.
Let's get rid of this crap.
Yes.
We've released 2 more complete browsers, and the 3rd one is on its way. It's, come on. The RC. Why are you still on this 10-year-old piece of garbage?
Yeah.
And they're having a bit of fun with it. You know? So,
following up on the news of Bing adding the Facebook like buttons to, and also their deal with DealMap and Groupon and all like that, they've teamed up with travel search site Kayak,
yeah.
Interesting move.
It's rather interesting, especially in light of, we talked a couple of weeks ago, or was it a month ago or more, about Google and the justice and all the, I kind of supported Google's move in this, and I still kind of do, but the Justice Department is looking into them over their
ITA.
Yeah, they want to purchase a search company, ITA, and their engine is what powers, Kayak.com. It's what powers a lot of, practically all of the major online search things for travel and all that sort of stuff. So if you go to Expedia or anywhere like that, it's most likely ITA software that you're using. Now, this has obviously been looked into by the Justice Department, so may not go through. Obviously, bear in mind that just the Justice Department looking at something does not mean that anything's going to happen. But there's an opportunity here for Microsoft. If they can partner with them, maybe switch them over to something Microsoft-powered, or just, provide them with a better means of doing things, especially if Google's acquisition doesn't go through.
Exactly, yeah.
Not only just the fact that, first off, it's good for consumers if, Microsoft partners with these and, more and more features from Bing, etc. More and more features for users of these sites. But if it doesn't go through, it puts Google in a very bad position. They've now tried to buy them. They've already generated a lot of bad blood with all these sites. And here's Microsoft offering the hand, saying, well, come to us. And so it's good for everybody all around except Google. Then again, it could be something that comes back to bite Microsoft in the hand if Microsoft does acquire technology, or if Google does acquire ITA, because then these sites will be faced with a difficult choice. Stick with the ITA and Google. Or go to something else. And that'll be interesting to see, because they'll tend to stick with what they know works.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll have to see what happens there.
No, I understand. We actually had we had someone send in a text message to us yesterday. On
yeah, this is in response yesterday to my question about being unable to get Google Calendars to sync with the 64-bit edition of Outlook 2010 on Windows 7 64. We had a couple of responses. Just let me scroll down here. Oh, I've scrolled past it, actually. Past the big bushy mustache talk segment. Then that's what happens when I say, should we come up with a name for this segment? And you just roll your eyes. But we had a couple of people reach out to us. Steve from Litchfield Park, Arizona. At least we believe that's where you're from. You didn't tell us where you're from, but, Google Voice happily tells you where your text messages come from. He sent us a text message to say, have we tried using Hotmail Calendar or Live Calendar? And Mark Steele also reached out to us on Facebook with the exact same advice, saying basically that you get your Live Calendar to sync with Gmail, with the Google Calendar, and then you pull that into Outlook, and everything works flawlessly rather than trying to do it directly from Gmail to Google Calendar. Now, I haven't had the opportunity to test this out yet because, as you heard at the beginning of the show, I've been out and about all day. But I will test it over the weekend and let everybody know whether or not it works on Monday.
Cool.
Now, folks, if you have any other solutions for the problem, or you'd like to comment on anything that we've said on the show today or on past shows, feel free to drop us a line at 251-281-8730, just like Steve did. And that line is open 24 hours a day for you to send us a text message or leave us a voicemail. You can always also drop us an email to podcast@winextra.com, or no matter where you see us, whether it's on Daily Brief, TV, winextra.com, or youtube.com/winextra. Subscribe, thumb us up, and leave us comments and stuff. We love to hear from you guys. And
we definitely do.
And remember, your comments and your feedback help let us know what you guys are thinking about and what you want from the show, and it helps us make it better for you. So, let us know.
So on that note, Paul and I wish you a happy weekend, and we will see you Monday. And this has been WinExtra's Daily Brief for March the 4th, 2011. Take care, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Have a good one, folks.